Hey there, it's Adrian over at the Sampleist, and today we are going to look at M-Tron Pro IV from GForce Software. This is an update to their very successful M-Tron instrument. This instrument is a recreation of the iconic Mellotron M400, a tape-based keyboard which you probably have heard without actually realising it. The Mellotron M400 was used by the likes of the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Yes, Jean-Michel Jarre and even Tangerine Dream. So M-Tron Pro is probably the best software emulation of the Mellotron that you're gonna ever hear. It weighs in at 3.5 GB and includes over 200 tape banks with more than 800 presets to play with. It is available for Mac and PC in audio units, AAX, VST2 and 3 and also standalone mode. So for you Mac users, it is both Intel and Apple Silicon native. And it comes in two varieties. For just the M-Tron Pro IV, it is priced at £149.99, but is on special introductory pricing of £74.99. You can also pick up the whole M-Tron Pro IV collection that is priced at £333, but is also on an introductory pricing of £199.99. This latter version comes with a superb 11.3 GB of sounds and 500 tape banks with 3,500 presets. All the prices I have quoted are correct at the time of publishing this video and are excluding VAT. So let's hear what this instrument sounds like as we take a little tour through some of the patches. Okay, let's take a quick look at the interface for M-Tron. This isn't going to be a complete tutorial or anything because the manual is very self-explanatory and there's plenty of videos that go into real detail of how to use this. So I'll just go quickly over what the interface provides us. We have layer A and layer B, which allows us to select the tape that you want to play in that particular slot. And you can have these as separate. So anything that's green means it's linked to layer A. And if you click B, it all goes like this pinky reddy hue, which is quite handy. And then each layer you can edit separately. Or if you want to make the same changes to both layers, just press the link button and everything goes blue. So that's a clue for you as to where we are. What I will say, I'll come to this in a minute, but I'll start down here where we got the keyboard. This little green like tape measure line you can actually change, and this controls how much of your keyboard is actually used to play the sound, because the Mellotron only had a specific number of keys, and this is a wonderful recreation of that. So you can actually limit how many keys you want. So if I move that, so anything from this C upwards will play, but if I play anything, and it's because I need to change B as well. If I play anything below C, now nothing plays. But if I want to have more range, just extend it, and that means you can actually have each layer play a different range. So more programmability. We have this wonderful section here that tells us how the tape for each layer is going to be played. So you can tune it up and down an octave, detune it slightly. You can add some wow and flutter to this as well. So just give you an idea what that sounds like. Add a bit of stability, change the rate. Very subtle, and you can reverse it as well. Half speed the tape. And then you can change the attack and the level of the tape and also pan it. So it's a wide sound. You can have obviously layer A panned hard left and layer B panned hard right, as this particular instrument, well, patch actually allows us to do. You have a very simple LFO section here, which you can direct to the pitch, the filter, the pan, or level. And then you've got your wonderful destination shapes you can actually use here. You know, your normal sine, square, triangle, random, and you can smooth it out, fade it in, the rate and the depth, and self-explanatory if you know how to use LFOs. And then we got the ubiquitous filter section, which allows us to change the cutoff value. We have the resonance and the tracking, and then you have the low pass, high pass and band pass filters to go with, and then you can control how much of that filter sound actually affects the sound, you know, the patch itself. And then we've got the usual ADSR envelope for your amp section. I think the best thing to look at now is just having a look at the quick FX down here. You have the amp, so you can sort of mold your sound. You can add some feedback. This button here, anything that looks like a chain, that basically links your left and right together. We have an ensemble section, so you can actually make it sound a bit wider. And then you can add some reverb, because Mellotron inherently is quite dry sounding, but when you put it through some effects it sounds much better. And then down here you can change the volume, the tone. The tone is automatically mapped to your mod wheel. You can alter the pitch and sort of balance between the A and B sections here. So you could map these to actual MIDI controllers, though you can map the whole thing to MIDI controllers, because if you press CC up here, you can actually select what you want to change. So if I want to change the volume here, there you go, and just move my mod wheel. So now both volume and tone link to my mod wheel. Then you can introduce break to the sound, or rewind the sound. Now on this performance section, just going back here, we have this wonderful bit that says aftertouch. So aftertouch on your keyboard, for those who don't know, is when you think you've got to the bottom of the key bed, if you just push gently a bit harder, it triggers the aftertouch CC message. And not all MIDI controllers do have this, so please check your manual before you start hitting your keys a little bit too hard. And you can use the aftertouch then to add some funky effects. So that's a quick overview of the interface for you. So let's sort of hear what it sounds like in a composition context. So that's what it sounds like in a little simple composition. Now what I've done to sort of like introduce this particular track is use two very simple patches of Bend Me Texture and AirTex padded strings. And the interface when we're playing looks like this, and it sounds like this. Just some very simple chords just to set in a bit of atmosphere. And then when we start the track off, we have this wonderful rotating pad sound. And in isolation, it sounds like this. A very simple chord sequence there, and just to beef it out a bit, we have a lovely bass sound. layer those two, that's a nice little sort of theme for the track there. And what we then have is a nice little rhythmic loop from a VP330, which this instrument lovely recreates, and you have this. And then if you layer it, and then just to add some sort of like movement, simple drum track, which the instrument can also provide. So at this point it's just doing a simple kick drum sound. If I move it along, and then if I layer it with the other sounds, it's sort of like getting a bit of a sort of jar-y type feel. And speaking of good old jar, we have a Tron for jar, which is one of the patches. And then what we've done just to round the track off is just add a little bit of a simple lead. So I've used two patches here and just doubled them over each other. Arps of Sample Join Us and the man from Fancy Farm. This is Arps of Sample Join Us. This is the man from Fancy Farm. We'll start adding the bits in on the tracks. What a gorgeous sounding instrument. This took me back to my youth as I grew up listening to lots of music on which Mellotron featured. A faithful recreation of the classic Mellotron sound on steroids inside your computer is probably the best way of describing this instrument. The attention to detail is really astounding, even down to the little tape stretch sound if you change a patch whilst the sound is still playing. The sound shaper controls that the instrument provides help make this a unique instrument in itself. And I would like to thank GForce Software for sending M-Tron Pro IV for a review. This is very much appreciated. And I also hope that you enjoy this video, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel and visit thesampleist.com to see what we are all about.